Good morning, Beaumont. So nice to be with you guys. And of course, all the rest of you from wherever you watch this on YouTube. And if you do watch this on YouTube, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel because I do a show here every day, 6 days a week. So I want you to check that out. You can get it on Saturday. It's in 3 segments on Saturday, total of 45 minutes of programming. But I try to bring you interesting things here on freedom1300.com, broadcasting live out of Beaumont, Texas. And of course, those of you that watch on YouTube, not live, but still, pretty good. So anyway, and of course, you might notice on YouTube, we have upgraded to a full high-def signal at great expense, but I hope you will enjoy that. Now, in the good news segment, it's not going to sound like good news initially, but trust me, this is a good one. There were four boys here, and they were high school students. The youngest one was 15, the oldest one was 19. And they decided, the best thing we could do is keep an eye out for a car from out of state. And they saw one with Texas plates. So Greg McDonald and Orlando Sentinel and Dante Askins and Montez Taylor and Levante Redding, they confronted their intended victim Wednesday night while he was packing up his car in the parking lot at the Fairfield Inn. They pistol whipped him, tied him up, took his wallet, and forced him into the backseat of his car. Well, for the next 2 hours, they drove around with their abducted victim bound in the backseat. And, of course, his wife got a little concerned, so she contacted the vehicle via OnStar, and the OnStar rep placed a call and heard someone screaming for help. The teens must have panicked at that point and decided to make a run for it in a desperate attempt to get away with what they had done. They quickly abandoned the stolen SUV at a vacant drug house. They fled on foot, and according to Orange County Sheriff's Office, it was too late. It was too late. They'd soon find out the man they kidnapped was Armando Alanis, a federal agent with Border Patrol. And although they had left him trapped inside the abandoned vehicle, the agent was able to slip out of his bonds. He did require 4 stitches to close a scalp wound where they whacked him over the head with a pistol. But let's face it, that was nothing compared to what these 4 boys have coming for them. Unsurprisingly, all 4 suspects were quickly apprehended. And arrest records for the guy Dante, an alleged member of the Death Over Mercy street gang, showed that he was found driving a stolen car the following day, just a mile from where he had previously kidnapped our Border Patrol agent. When the carjacking and kidnapping being the 18-year-old's 6th arrest, he was held without bail in the Orange County Jail. Most troubling, of course, Askins was previously charged as an adult, even though he was only 16, just 2 years prior, and he was charged with attempted murder in connection with a drive-by shooting targeting a member of the rival guerrilla gang. The charges were brought down on his 2 co-defendants in this case. He might have gotten off easy before, but he was not going to get off easy on this one because considering he was now an adult and he decided to commit another carjacking and kidnapping, and they were probably driving around deciding whether or not they were going to murder this guy. Well, the other 3 suspects were taken into custody the same day. The 15-year-old suspect, Montez Taylor, was accompanied by his parents as he turned himself in at the Orange County Sheriff's headquarters. Redding, the 16-year-old suspect, was arrested a few hours later, and McDonald was arrested that night. Well, after the arrest, the 2 younger teens, who had also had previous run-ins with the law, were put in the state juvie detention center in Orlando. McDonald was held on a no bond hearing until they could find out exactly what was going on. Still unclear exactly what part he played in this. One thing is clear, though, the sheriff was not happy about what these boys had done. Sheriff Jerry Demings sent a clear message that he doesn't play around with this sort of thuggery in his town, and even though he's a black man himself, and all 4 of the teen suspects were black or Hispanic, they have decided to increase patrols in the International Drive Tourist District Demings intends to make an example out of those that are caught terrorizing innocent people, and proving just that, the high schoolers were charged with armed kidnapping, carjacking a car, and aggravated battery with a firearm. These high school students were playing a dangerous game and they got caught, Sheriff Demings said. Adding to that, the detectives will work to determine whether or not all of the teens do indeed belong to gangs. If they're found to be gang members, it's going to be a problem. He said, if you're coming to our community with criminal intent, we want you to think twice about that. And many agree. And that's the perfect attitude for any sheriff to have. I remember my friend Sheriff Joe Arpaio out of Arizona, whom you've heard on this show in prior episodes back on Raging Elephants Radio. I don't know if they're going to dress him up in pink underwear or not. Joe Arpaio apparently had the right idea. Wheelchairs for Warriors does something no one else does. We provide wheelchairs for former warriors that have been disabled in the combat theater. So I'm asking all of you right now to go to wheelchairsforwarriors.org. Donations have been off a little bit this year. We've got right now 36 warriors that are waiting for wheelchairs. So we need you. These are wheelchairs that allow these former athletes and strong men to be able to stand up if they need to reach something or to be able to participate in sporting events. One such athlete was Jason Tabansky. He was able to win the archery event in the Paralympics because he had one of the wheelchairs provided by Wheelchairs for Warriors. You can help. Please. Wheelchairsforwarriors.org. That's wheelchairsforwarriors.org. Hey, of course, there's a lot of good news. You know, I'm glad. But you might remember a fellow by the name of Zachary Levi. I first became exposed to Zachary Levi on a show called Chuck, which ran for, 7 years on one of the major networks. I just loved that show. And if you haven't watched it, you can watch it on Amazon Prime free. But Chuck was a great show, whereas an unwitting genius becomes the subject of the CIA military intelligence. It's a rom-com. I loved it. Zachary Levi has done things. He did the movie Shazam, which is okay. And he also did The Amazing Mrs. Maisel, where he played a Jewish doctor, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But Zachary Levi had endorsed Donald Trump at a pro-Trump rally in Dearborn, Michigan. Now, Dearborn, Michigan was once a glittering jewel in the crown of America. It's now pretty much overrun by Islam, but I digress. Anyway, he was doing a tour, the Reclaim America tour with F. Kennedy and former Representative C. Gabbard, both of whom I like and both of whom have endorsed Trump in recent days. So he was also in Disney's Tangled. So anyway, the fact that he has endorsed Trump, that went viral very quickly. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. I said, I'm not going to take a lot of time here, Zachary Levi said. But I did just want to give you a little context as to why me, Shazam, sitting here talking about these things. Said I grew up in a family that was conservative, and that was pretty much the lane we were in. My parents were Democrats, turned into Reagan Republicans, and they taught me to have a healthy level of distrust for government and a healthy level of distrust for industry that runs amok. Levi previously endorsed Kennedy Jr., though the once Democrat turned independent dropped out of the race himself to endorse Trump. So Levi's endorsement has shifted as well. And it appears that Governor Kennedy Jr.'s endorsements and involvement with the Trump campaign are partially what convinced Levi to switch himself over. That we're here to we're going to take back the country again. We're going to make it great again. We're going to make it healthy again. Zachary Levi said, I stand with Bobby. I stand with Tulsi. And I stand with everyone else who is standing with President Trump, because I do believe of the two choices we have, and we have only two, Donald Trump, President Trump is the man that can get us there. And he's going to get us there because he's going to have the backing, support, and the wisdom and knowledge and the fight that exists in F. Kennedy Jr. and the former Representative Tulsi Gabbard. So at this point in the race, every endorsement matters, and I, just between you, because I'm a big Zachary Levi fan, I like it. I say, go Chuck! Meanwhile, Donald Trump and Elon Musk of SpaceX and Tesla and the Boring Company and X announced that they're going to go far beyond the federal government's efforts to restore communication in the state that has been impacted by Tropical Storm Helene. Trump and Musk announced Monday that Starlink, which is totally privately owned satellite network, it's going to be rolled out in Georgia and North Carolina. And even as the Biden-Harris administration said Monday, it will make government operations the focus of its communication strategy. Since the hurricane disaster, SpaceX has sent as many Starlink terminals as possible to help areas in need. Earlier today, Donald Trump alerted additional people who need Starlink internet in North Carolina. He said, we'll be sending them terminals right away as well. I personally have installed a number of these Starlink systems. They work really well, but normally that equipment to get you started is about $600 plus installation, unless you're a do-it-yourself sort of guy and you can install it yourself. So the fact they're doing this is a big deal. Trump said, I spoke to Elon about his brilliant communication system for North Carolina and Georgia. So many of their lines are down, and Elon is on it. So they did notice that there's a really bad response to Hurricane Helene from Cami and whoever's wearing the Joe suit. To every family that's been displaced here in Georgia and North Carolina, which have really been hit, we're going there also. They don't have any communications. In fact, some cities, they don't have anything at all right now because there's nothing left. Trump said this during a Monday visit to Valdosta, Georgia. He was in Georgia to support the rescue efforts of Reverend Franklin Graham and Samaritan's Purse, once again doing the job that the government should be doing. Trump said, I just spoke to Elon. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no way of getting any comms out there, no email, no internet. We're working on getting them hooked up. We're going to try to get Starlink in there as soon as possible. FEMA immediately noticed in a news release that it was using Starlink to keep the governments online, but they weren't doing anything for the individuals out there. FEMA said that 40 Starlink SAT systems are currently available to help first responders with communications, and an additional 140 Satellink uplinks are being shipped to assist with government communications infrastructure restoration. One Starlink will be deployed per county, they said, to assist with communications and the continuity of government. So anyway, good news. Thank you, Elon Musk, a man of true accomplishment, and Donald John Trump, the greatest president in the history of the United States. And thank you, Western Journal, for that article. You have a choice, and you chose Freedom 1300.